What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. It's February 28th. We got a 5-game little mini slate tonight. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell as well, so you get the alerts when I post new content. And if you like the content that I throw up, please, the thumbs up button is always appreciated. So we're going to start with a recap before we get into picks for tonight from last night's lineup. Everything just hit well last night, except for in the Milwaukee game. Milwaukee neglected to put out there that they were going to limit Giannis's minutes. There was a tweet that came out maybe about 10 minutes before game time that his minutes were going to be monitored, and at that point it's just too late to make any kind of changes to the lineup. I don't even know. I probably could have put in Kuzma if Kuzma did score more. That probably would have cashed the line. The line was about 6 points short of the cash line, but it was just kind of too late to mess around with the lineup and change things up. So that was super frustrating last night. But that's part of the game. That happens from time to time where teams won't put anything out, and you just kind of find out last minute, or like that Davis news, like a month and a half ago, that he just wasn't going to play that night. That happens sometimes. So we're going to move on to tonight. Let's go over to the slate. All right, here we go. So we'll start with the picks down here. Let's actually go through the games first. The games that I am going to get the most exposure to are going to be the Philly OKC game and the Utah Denver game. Just the way the lines play out. Philly OKC is my number one. I think that's pretty obvious with the game stack tonight. Not necessarily something that I wanted to specifically get. Like last night, I had 4 guys in the New Orleans LA game. I don't think it's going to be quite that tilted of a game stack, but I do want a good solid piece of this game. But we'll get into that in a sec. But we'll go away from that and get kind of the value plays out of the way. So 2 guys at center that I'm gonna really 100% be in my lineup, in my core, are going to be Jonah Bolden, who should start, and this is assuming that he starts. Embiid is going to be out tonight, so Bolden at 4K is just an absolute 100% lock. It for so many reasons. A, he's cheap. B, he's productive when he's in there. He got 26.5 fantasy points in 18 minutes in the start against New Orleans. Did have I believe he had 5 fouls in that game. So that even limited his time a little bit more, but he should have play in the 20-minute range, somewhere in the low to mid-20s, and a point and a half per minute as far as fantasy point goes. That's going to be solid. So, and it gives me exposure to this game that I love the most out of any of the games on the slate. So we'll hit him in at 4K. And another great thing about him is he has power forward eligibility, so you don't have to use a center spot on him. So you can pay up if you want to Towns, to Jokic, a lot of different options, Vucevic, a lot of different options on this slate. So we'll put him in at the power forward spot. And then same thing with Bam. Go right back to the well with him. 4K again. Had a great game the other night. 34.5 fantasy points in 32 minutes. Price didn't go up at all. Whiteside being out with that hip, kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. So, good news for us. I'll take that. So both of these guys are going to be a little chalky tonight, but I would rather take the free space and move on than fade them and hope that they don't do well, because they're just going to get a bunch of minutes, and at the center spot it's hard not just fall into cash value at that point, much less GPP upside with them. So we'll get both of them in the lineup. Then we'll go to small forward, still keeping with this game. Tobias Harris has cashed in 3 out of 4. In that 4th game, he was at the price tag that he was at, that was cash value. At this, he's priced up $500. Don't love that, but he should have a lot of his usage is going to get a bump with Embiid out. He's been probably the best guy, most consistent guy since he's been traded over as far as scoring points and points per minute and all that. His minutes are safe in the mid to upper 30s. This should be a close game, close enough where that he won't lose minutes. I think Philly is favored by 7.5, something like that. Total's 239, so that's why it's a good spot for him. And then the last spot we're gonna go to is and this is a little value play, and I'm intentionally leaving the bigger guys out, and I'll go into them specifically in just a sec. But we're gonna get another little value play and get Moutier in there. So Moutier has been getting the minutes off the bench since A, he's been back from his injury, and B, since Allen got knocked down to the D League. So outside of that San Antonio game, he's been getting solid minutes. Now, I don't like to play New York players in general because the rotations are just kind of up in the air, and so this isn't nearly as much of a lock for me at this point. As you know, Bolden and Bam are, but it's a solid spot, 4,900. If more value opens up later on, this would probably be the first one to go. But you know, at home he's playing against either Clarkson or Sexton. And as long as he gets his minutes, you know, playing against either one of those guys, both those guys are just not good on defense. Sexton is one of the worst individual players defensively in the league. I think he's second worst among point guards. Clarkson isn't that much better. So the opportunity is going to be there for him. And he's been scoring, taking shots, 18 shots the last game, 10, 15. If he's in that 14, 15 shot range, everything else should fall into place for him, especially against a poor defensive team like Cleveland. So get him in there. Well, let's go to the higher end guys. So you got Westbrook, Harden, Towns, George, Embiid's out, Jokic, Vucevic, and then the Golden State guys. So we'll stop down here and include Vucevic in these guys. So Harden is just not at 11K. With Paul in there, I don't care the matchup. There's no possibility of getting him in my lineup. So there's not enough usage to go around in that team for him to have the upside that we need. I think I've said that probably 2 or 3 videos in a row when they played in the slate. So Harden's out for me. He's probably last for me. And then number 1 is going to be Paul George. So last video I picked Westbrook over him. George had a better night. They both had good nights. George had a better night, and up till that night when they played Denver. Up till that night, Westbrook for a good 4, 5, 6 game stretch had taken the reins and really not acquiesced to George. And last game, Westbrook just threw him the rock and rolled into the corner and didn't look to score as much as he had been in previous games. So it looks like George may have taken back some of the usage that he had before that stretch. So especially in this game where it's going to be a faster paced game, and the game that I want exposure to, that he's going to be my number 1. Westbrook probably, Towns is going to be my close number 2, and then it'll go Jokic, Vucevic, and Westbrook. Now that might change during the day, but George is my clear number 1 right now, and then the rest are kind of bunched up at like 2A, 2B, 2C. One thing to mention, Vucevic last time against Golden State, he had a bomb game. I think he had 53 points, and he plays better at home. So this is a better spot for him. And if Cousins is out, even better. I didn't play him the other night against New York with DeAndre Jordan out, and that was a mistake in retrospect. But if he plays and Looney starts, and Bell is the backup, or whoever comes up is the backup, he jumps up probably number 1 for me if I can fit him in. But in this slate, there should be enough value that opens up so that you can get definitely 1 stud, probably 2 studs. It just depends on what kind of injury news we get during the day. 5-game slate, it's definitely not going to be as much as last night, but look out for that during the day. But that's pretty much what I have. Let's plug Paul George in with the 4 other guys. Still have 64, 66, 6,500 just about for the other 3 spots, which is plenty of money to go around, and then even more, like I said, with the injury news coming out later on. So that's all I have for this morning. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the DFS Picks. I do most of the updates on Twitter. And then if you haven't already, like I said at the beginning of the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for new updates when I drop new content. And then if you like the picks, like the content, throw a thumbs up on there. It really helps me out as far as exposure and getting out there. And if we hit 25 thumbs ups, I'll put out the line for tomorrow's games, tomorrow's slates for on my social media channel. So hope you guys have a great day, and good luck tonight.